Cloud doesn't automatically protect your data. Responsibility still lies with. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk with Aegis. Today we have a very interesting topic, which is cloud is not as safe as you think. We have Mr. Garick, the VP of Cloud Service Delivery from Aegis Cloud, and we will break it down for you. You think cloud just runs by itself. It doesn't. From your experience, Garick, what is actually happening behind the scenes to keep everything running?
Yes, that's a very common assumption that once you're in the cloud, everything just runs on its own. In reality, there's a lot of happening behind the scenes. Systems are constantly being monitored, resources are being adjusted, and backups are running. We're always checking for unusual activity as well. The cloud gives you flexibility, but then it doesn't remove the need for active management. So what keeps things stable is not just about infrastructure, it's actually ongoing oversight to make sure everything is running perfectly so that it performs well.
So what Garick is saying is cloud doesn't just run on its own. There's actually continuous monitoring, adjustments, and management happening behind the scene to keep everything intact.
Yes, I mean, that's correct.
Okay, now our second question will be when your system goes down, panic is the worst response. So when something goes wrong, like downtime, human error, or even ransomware, what's the first thing that team focuses on?
Okay, yes, I agree. The first priority is always to stabilize the situation. When something goes wrong, we don't need to immediately jump into fixing everything. We first need to contain the impact and make sure it doesn't get worse. After that, we focus on restoring the most critical system so the business can continue operating. It's really about being structured, staying calm, prioritizing correctly, recovering in the control way rather than reacting in panic.
So the key takeaway here is when something goes wrong, it's not about reacting fast, it's about reacting right.
Yes,
So, which means we got to stabilize first, contain the impact, then we prioritize recovery.
correct.
A structured approach always works better than panic. Now comes to our third question. Putting data in the cloud doesn't automatically mean it's protected. Now, Garrett, a lot of companies assume their data is safe just because it's in the cloud. Now, from what you have seen, where do things usually go wrong?
Okay, Ivy. The biggest issue is assumption. A lot of companies believe that once the data is in cloud, it's automatically protected, but that's not entirely true. Most of the risk actually comes from things like accidental deletion, misconfiguration, or even ransomware. The cloud provider secures the infrastructure, but the data itself is actually falls on the customer's responsibility. So when things goes wrong, proper backup and recovery plan have to be in place.
So, this is a very important point. Cloud doesn't automatically protect your data. Responsibility still lies with
You.
you. So, which comes to our fourth question. Your backup can succeed and it still can fail you. From a service delivery point of view, Garrick, what gives you confidence that a customer can actually recover, not just their stored data?
Okay. For us, confidence doesn't come from seeing backup completed. It comes from knowing recovery actually works. The one way to be sure is actually through regular testing. We simulate real recovery scenarios to make sure system can be restored properly within expected timeline. Because at the end of the day, being able to recover quickly and correctly is really what matters in business.
Yes, the lesson here is not always about backup. It is about recovery. Whether you can actually restore and get your systems back up is actually what matters most. That's why at Aegis Cloud, we always encourage customers to perform regular DR drills at least once a year to make sure everything truly works when needed.
Yes.
Now comes to our final question. The biggest assumption about cloud is also the most dangerous. Gary, if you could give one piece of advice to business owners about managing their cloud environment better, what would it be?
Probably don't assume that cloud automatically means you're fully protected. Uh, Next is they need to take time to understand what is actually covered and what isn't, especially when it comes to your data. And most importantly, make sure they have a clear recovery plan, not just a backup in place. Because when something goes wrong, the question is not whether you have the data, it's whether can you get your business back up and running quickly.
Okay, you're right. So the biggest takeaway here is don't assume cloud means you're fully protected. Make sure you have a real solid recovery plan. So, across everything we have discussed today, one thing is very clear. Cloud alone is not enough. At the end of the day, recovery is what really matters. If you are unsure about your current setup, feel free to reach out to us via WhatsApp or through our social media platforms below. And also, if you think this topic is relevant, please like, comment, and share. Thank you.